Days after he cancelled his India visit, citing very heavy Tesla obligations, Elon Musk landed in China in what was called a surprise visit. Well, the surprise did not end there. Today, Tesla sealed a deal with Beijing to roll out its full self-driving software in China, marking a major milestone for the country and the company. This was Musk's second trip in less than a year to China, where he met Prime Minister Li Qiang as he hoped to propel his company's fortunes in the world's biggest electric car market. This, remember, came days after Elon Musk tweeted that he's excited to meet with Prime Minister Narendra Modi in India. Now, remember, India had rolled out an electric vehicle policy largely to accommodate Tesla, but Tesla operates its biggest plant globally in Shanghai, producing over 1 million units of Model 3 and Model Y cars per year. In fact, Tesla has sold more than 1.7 million cars in China since it entered the market a decade ago. Obviously, China is crucial for Tesla, not just because of this, but also the fact that China supplies Tesla cars to New Zealand, Australia, and Europe. India, meanwhile, was hoping for a $2 to $3 billion investment this time around, which would not only boost the manufacturing sector and provide employment, but it was a great move for the Modi government amid the elections. However, the question that remains unanswered now in this entire drama is, where does India stand in the Elon Musk-China relationship, as well as the new emerging and significant electric vehicle market? To talk more on this, I'm joined by Dr. Sudhir Mehta, Chairperson and MD of Pinnacle Industries. I'm also joined by Kanishk Gaur, he's a cyber and technology expert. Let me start with you, Kanishk, first. How do you see this so-called surprise visit by Elon Musk? First, he tweeted how excited he is to visit India and meet with Prime Minister Modi. And then he called it off, citing very heavy Tesla obligations. And suddenly we see him in China and, sealing the deals regarding Tesla.
Thank you for inviting me. Elon Musk is smart. He is seizing the opportunity. He is looking for deal closures. He knows that there are elections that are happening in India, and I don't think so he's sure whether the ruling party is going to come with full majority or half majority, or would require support of its alliance partners. So he deferred the trip instead of canceling the trip, saying very heavy obligations from the investors. And instead, he seized the opportunity to go to China, where he already has investments which are reaping dividends for him. And Tesla is not only exporting to other markets from China, but has major investments which support R&D and is also supporting the local market. For self-driving vehicles, which are the future, not only for Tesla, but globally, China is seizing the opportunity along with Elon Musk. What is the key here is for India to do more on ground and remove those obligations for allowing companies to enter market more freely, rather than just doing the pep talk. I think there has been a lot of talk from India about ease of doing business, but that needs to translate on ground to make businesses overseas invest in India, not just within the technology sector, but also the electronic and manufacturing sector and the automobile sector, which is the need of the hour.
Okay, let me ask Dr. Sudhir Mehta then. Dr. Mehta, companies, businesses were all excited to have Elon Musk in India. There was lots of speculation. Was it a shock when he cancelled and now he's, done that China visit? In fact, he's concluded the visit as well. And also the fact that, clearly the priority between India and China was China for Elon Musk, for all the business that he has there.
So good evening, Shreya. Let me set the context for the discussion. I think, first of all, in my opinion, I think it's ludicrous to assume that the two are linked together. Elon Musk is an international business person. India is going to be the third largest automotive market in the world. It already is. This is the single most important opportunity outside of China in the EV space. You cannot ignore India. So I think just to assume that he's gone to China, it's not to say that he's not interested in India. A businessman of his stature, and he's a very smart businessman, I'm sure everybody would grant that. A couple of weeks ago, after a lot of deliberation, tweeted that he was coming to India, which means obviously he's very interested in the Indian market. He's always said so. there is a correct time and a place to be in India. I don't think in a space of less than 2 weeks, his decision would change due to any political consideration. Let's keep that out of the equation. Having said that, I think let's again talk about
No
the
political
opportunity that's there
consideration,
in
Dr.
India.
Mehta, but this got me thinking whether business ethics is a concept that is oxymoronic, or does it actually exist? You say something, then you do something else. Does it actually exist?
Yes, it does. The vast majority of companies follow that. And again, I think it's reading too much into something just because a visit got postponed. Let's get serious. I don't think for years of effort, somebody like Mr. Musk or any business person, this is simply an issue of something which is postponed. Now, let's again put in context. First of all, it was never made clear that he was coming to announce a plant. Nobody announces a plant based on simply one meeting. This is a series of events, which means the business case has to make sense. Does the business case for India make sense? Absolutely, yes. We produced 27 million vehicles last year. We produced 4 million vehicles. Anybody who's not looking at India obviously does not have a growth strategy. Having said that, the EV market also is growing. There's going to be a time for it to come. What would have been the easiest thing probably for the government to do if they wanted to be populist was to simply say, okay, we'll give you $1 billion in incentives. Elon Musk come to India. Is that what we want? No, we want to develop an Indian automotive industry, which is ultimately rooted in manufacturing in India. I think that's seminal for any country.
Sure.
You have to have an automotive industry which is locally strong. And this is the consistent view of the government. Come, produce in India, everything is open. I'll give you the example of our company. We have Mitsui Japan, which is one of the largest companies in Japan. We have the VDL Group of Netherlands, which is the number one electric.
All right, there seems to be a network issue with Dr. Mehta there. We'll try and fix that issue. But Kanishk, let me come to you. We're talking about the market of EVs here, and India is seeing an emergence. It's a new sort of sector. Very less is known, but now, there is an effort to make people aware of the benefits of EVs. How do you see that really growing in the next few years?
Tremendous opportunity to size in India, but it also has its shackles because of policy paralysis. And that has changed over the past few years, but we need to do better. Mind you, there are a lot of automotive companies who have decided not to continue business in India, right? We saw GM Motors leaving India. We saw Ford also leaving India. While there is opportunity, there is also equal amount of risk. So how do you mitigate those risks and how do you take care of the regulatory elements are key to business. So the returns are there, but a lot of times businesses look for value for money. And I think that's an important area the government must address. The local market players are tremendous. There is great spirit on entrepreneurship and partnerships which could be built. However, we must do better on regulatory elements, particularly looking at how we ensure more businesses find ease of doing business in India. Taxes are tremendous in India when it comes to some of these segments. There are both direct and indirect taxes. There needs to be more rebates. There needs to be more methods for investing overseas businesses to allow more investment to be made with India. So I think there is still a lot to be done, particularly within the automotive space. We will see a lot of Japanese businesses which are investing in India, particularly on EV manufacturing. We have seen companies like SoftBank Holdings putting in more money in companies like Ola, right? But at the same time, when we look at the American market, the American majors who are particularly interested in doing more in the EV space, I think a lot more could be achieved when it comes to four-wheelers. Two-wheelers, we have already seen companies like Ather Energy who are doing tremendously well. But when it comes to four-wheelers on EV, looking at American companies investing, I think still more needs to be done.
Okay, Dr. Sudhir Mehta, can I come to you and just ask you on how, this whole situation with Elon Musk has played out? And I want to understand from you how companies like Tesla, and not just Tesla, in fact, other companies enter the Chinese market. They sort of want to leverage acknowledge China's vast market and its manufacturing prowess, but they eventually find themselves being very dependent on China's policies and the economics and all the shifts as well as the geopolitics that surrounds America and China. That sort of dependence also comes in from American giants, isn't it?
Yes, you're right. Today, China, in numbers terms, let's be very clear, is the largest EV market. And there is a huge amount of penetration that's coming from two or three things. One, there is very large government incentives. Government has given billions of dollars, for instance, to BYD. Again, to set in context, a company like BYD today has an R&D strength of 90,000 people. I repeat, only on R&D, they have 90,000 people. So China has built their ecosystem. Let's grant them that. Number one. Number two, what's happened is there is clearly availability of, for instance, lithium battery cells today are predominant in China. So the numbers as of now are with China as far as EVs are concerned. Again, for any global company, you cannot have a strategy which is only for one country. You have to have a strategy which is specific. Let me give you the example. In India, take the example of three-wheelers. Again, this is not spoken about enough. I think we need to speak about this more often. We are, as of month, the largest electric three-wheeler market in the world. More than 50% of three-wheelers sold in India are electric. And this will also translate to exports. Two-wheelers, we are moving in that direction. Commercial electric mobility makes sense because more you use an electric vehicle, the more you save. The same is happening in buses. The government has an ambitious program of 800,000 electric buses. I think for a minute, we also should look at the economic impact and the areas that we want to focus on. Is EV cars the end-all and be-all of EVs? The answer is clearly no. We first need to also make sure that commercial vehicle electric mobility, buses, public transport, heavy trucks, these are vehicles which are used all the time. The impact on the environment is very significant. And if we are to place our bets somewhere, you cannot do everything at one time. I would much rather place bets on where the usage of these vehicles is high, like in two-wheelers, where the shift is happening. In cars, eventually it will happen. In a market of 350,000, last month we only sold 9,000 electric cars. The journey is just starting. Tata Motors today has more than 70% market share. So this also means Indian companies are doing well.
Okay. So we leave it there. Dr. Nadir Mehta and Kanishk Gaur, both of you gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us. Of course, we'll have to see when finally Elon Musk does come to India. And make those announcements that are being speculated about. But till then, we'll have to make do with the fact that he's gone to China first and then he's going to come to India. Thank you very much to both of you for joining us on the broadcast and sharing your thoughts. Thank you very much.